keys, man. The first key for the Indiana Fever to get a win over the LA Sparks, you got that right. Move, Steph. Get out the way. Get out the way, Steph. Get out the way. Stephanie White has to get out of the way. Stephanie White's got to get out of the way. It's the Clark show, all right? And the sooner she leans in, because up to this point, Stephanie...
Stop right there. That's not a hot take. That's a battle cry. Because when a content creator opens his pregame show by telling the head coach of the Indiana Fever to literally get out of the way, you know we've reached a breaking point. Sparks versus Fever, desperate team at home. Caitlin Clark coming off a 2 for 10 night from 3. And the loudest voice in the room is pointing the finger directly at Stephanie White.
White has not leaned in to Caitlin Clark's greatness. She's leaned out. She's tried to go in different directions, take the ball out of her hands, put the ball in Kelsey Mitchell's hands, put the ball in Raven Johnson's hands, have Aaliyah Boston play point guard. We want to move with the hub. She wants to do everything but lean in. And in order for the Fever to win today, she's going to have to lean into Caitlin Clark's greatness and get out of the way.
There it is, the core accusation. Stephanie White has not leaned in. She's leaned out, putting the ball in Kelsey Mitchell's hands, running plays through Aaliyah Boston, letting Ari McDonald initiate. Anything but the obvious answer. And remember, this isn't some random fan. White was hired in October 2024 specifically because the front office believed her defensive system and motion offense would unlock Clark. 6 months later, the offense is sputtering through stretches that look nothing like what we saw at Iowa. So the question isn't whether Clark is the engine. The question is why the head coach keeps trying to drive a different car.
Hey, the number 2 thing is defense. We got to play a little bit of something like, if people making tough shots, that's one thing. Okay, Dallas made some tough shots here and there. That happens. But, like, can you be in the vicinity of people? Can we at least run back on defense? Can we at least run back? That would be nice. Just running back alone would be nice. Let's get back on defense. Let's try, guys. We just try. Simplify the defense, Stephanie White. Keep it simple. And let's just stay in front of people.
Now we're at the second pillar, defense. And this is where the Fever's identity collapse really shows up on tape. White was sold to fans as a defensive mind. She built her reputation in Connecticut and at Vanderbilt on tough, switchable, physical defense. Indiana currently ranks in the bottom third of the league in defensive rating, and they just gave up over 100 to Dallas with the Wings shooting historic percentages from the floor. The ask here is not complicated. Run back in transition, stay in front of your assignment, contest the shot. That's it. That's the entire bar.
Why, you're supposed to be a defensive coach. You're supposed to be a defensive coach. We have not seen defense looking good. Okay, are we going to allow Kelsey Plum to play one-on-one all day today like we did Paige Beckers? Are we going to let Kelsey Plum dribble one-on-one all day? Caitlin Clark is getting doubled. She's getting blitzed. We should be treating Kelsey Plum the same way. Okay, I would like to see Lexi Hall getting more minutes and guarding Kelsey Plum, and I like to see us blitzing Kelsey Plum some. I'm just saying. Yeah, they got NECA. Yeah, they got Hamby. Look, they just got beat by 30. They're going to be playing desperate today.
And this is the strategic wrinkle that nobody in the national media is talking about. Kelsey Plum is a former #1 overall pick and an Olympic gold medalist. She is a walking bucket when given a runway. Last game, the Fever let Paige Buchers cook them in isolation for stretches that looked like a layup line. If Indiana lets Plum get downhill the same way, this game is over by the third quarter. The remedy is obvious. Blitz the pick and roll, force the ball out of her hands, make someone else beat you. Lexi Hull is on this roster for a reason. Use her.
The next key to victory. Aaliyah Boston, Monique Billings, Maisha Hines-Allen, Michaela Timpson, everybody listen up, open your ears. Set screens, set real screens, set real picks. Plant your boots in the ground and make contact with a defender. All it is, every time it's time for us to set a screen for Caitlin Clark, we're slipping because we want the ball. We think she's going to get blitzed. We just going to slip every screen. No, man. Set a pick for a change, bro. Like, let's stop playing games. Let's stop playing games. You're a professional here. Actually Do your part and set a screen, man. It's too many times on the film.
Now we get to the heart of it. Screening. This is the dirty work that decides games, and it's been quietly killing the Fever's offense all season. When defenders blitz Clark off the high pick, the screener has two choices. Slip to the rim and trust the read, or plant your feet, absorb contact, and give your guard a real runway. Indiana keeps choosing option 1. Every possession. Aaliyah Boston ghosting screens at the top of the key. Nalissa Smith barely brushing defenders. The result is Clark running into two bodies with no separation, forcing the kind of contested threes that turn into the 2-for-10 nights we just saw against Dallas.
I see Aaliyah Boston playing ring around the Rosie at the top of the key, not touching nobody. She's supposed to be setting a screen. She's slipping. She's not touching nobody. Maisha Hines-Allen, look, everybody need to be setting screens, bro. If it's your job to set a screen and you don't touch somebody, you should be getting subbed out. You should be getting subbed out. All right, screening. If you set a good screen, more than likely you're gonna end up being the person that ends up open. Set a good screen, bro. Like, stop playing games, man. Y'all getting paid. Y'all actually getting paid real money now. You're getting paid real money, and y'all need to set screens and do your damn jobs. Like, I don't have time. That should not be a conversation point after this game. If that's a conversation.
And here's where accountability has to enter the conversation. Aaliyah Boston signed a rookie-scale contract worth roughly $750,000 this season. Nalissa Smith, Damiris Dantas, Sydney Colson. These are professionals getting paid professional money in a league that just signed a new media rights deal worth $2.2 billion over 11 years. The era of excuses about training camp time and chemistry is over. Setting a screen is not a skill issue, it's an effort issue. And when the screener is the one who ends up open after a hard pick, you punish the defense twice. That's basketball 101, and the Fever are failing the test.
Can we make layups? I don't even know why this has to be something that we ask for, something that's a discussion. You guys are pros. Can you make some layups? Please. Please make some layups, man. There's no reason we should be missing layup after layup. Maisha Hines-Allen just out there smoking layups. Aaliyah Boston missed the layup. Like, Kelsey missing layups. Like, listen, man, we need y'all to make your if people would have just made layups, Caitlin probably would have had about 13 assists last game. People was just missing layups. It is what it is. People are missing wide open layups, and people are getting paid too much to be doing it. Everybody's getting paid good money. Y'all need to make layups. Make your layups. Aaliyah, you shouldn't be
Layups. We are seriously sitting here in May of 2026 talking about whether a professional basketball team can finish at the rim. And the tape backs it up. Indiana is one of the worst teams in the league at converting attempts inside 5 feet. Boston specifically has had stretches where she's missed point-blank looks that should be automatic for a former Rookie of the Year. Think about what that does to Clark's assist numbers. She's threading passes into traffic, hitting the roller in stride, kicking out to shooters in rhythm. And those passes are dying at the rim. If the Fever finishers convert at even a league average rate last game, Clark walks out with a double-digit assist night, and the entire narrative around her shooting slump changes.
And this is very important. Caitlin Clark, you have to find that Iowa Caitlin. You have to go in GOAT mode. You need to make shots. You need to start making shots. I got to keep it real. All this 2 of 9, 2 of 10 from 3. You got to find your shooting stroke again. I don't know what... I mean, that was one game, so I'm not tripping off that. But you got to find your shooting stroke again. I don't know what happened to it. You got to get your rhythm. You got to be aggressive. But you got to find a way to knock down shots. When Caitlin Clark is rolling, like how she got rolling in that third quarter versus the Dallas Wings, when she's clicking like that, it changes everything. It changes everything. I'm telling you. So yeah,
And now we arrive at the final piece. The piece that swallows every other conversation. Caitlin Clark has to make shots. 2 for 9, 2 for 10 from 3. Those are not Caitlin Clark numbers. The same player who broke the all-time NCAA scoring record. The same player who logged 30-point logo threes in college on a nightly basis. Something in the mechanics is off, and we saw a flash of it in the third quarter against Dallas when she finally got into rhythm and the entire offense transformed in real time. When Clark is hitting, the floor stretches 26 feet. Defenders have to close out from the logo. Boston gets one-on-one looks at the rim. Mitchell finds open windows on the wing. The whole ecosystem depends on that shot falling.
Has to find a way to make shots. All this 2 of 9 from 3, 2 of 10 from 3. We can't have it. You already see all the haters is already out. You had a game where you had 20 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds, and the haters was out talking crazy. That already lets you know how high the bar is in the expectation. Caitlin, you have to come out firing on all cylinders. I'm talking about I need you to go 4 of 10 from 3 or go 6 for 11. I need you to light it up from that 3-point line and find your rhythm and get it going. This team needs you to make shots. After watching this team, they need you to make shots. Yeah, you got to make shots. Get down in the comments. Let me know what you think.
So let's pull all of this together because the picture that emerges is bigger than one game against the Sparks. The Indiana Fever are at a crossroads, and tonight in Los Angeles is the inflection point. 5 issues, 5 fixable problems, and every single one of them traces back to either coaching philosophy or professional accountability. Start with the coaching question. Stephanie White was brought in to be the adult in the room, the strategic voice that would harness Clark's generational talent and build a system around it. Instead, what we've watched through the early stretch of this season is a coach actively fighting against the gravitational pull of her best player. The ball has spent more time in the hands of secondary creators than at any point since Clark arrived in the league. That is not a coincidence. That is a choice, and it's a choice that has produced inconsistent offense, baffling rotations, and the kind of body language from Clark on the bench that fans started noticing in the loss to Dallas. Then there's the defensive identity crisis. White's entire coaching reputation was built on defense. Connecticut Sun assistant, Vanderbilt head coach. The pitch to Indiana was that she would install a system that made the Fever harder to score on. The reality is a team that gives up open threes, breaks down in transition, and offers no resistance at the point of attack. Letting Paige Buckers ISO her way to a 30-piece is one thing. Letting Kelsey Plum do the same thing tonight would be malpractice. The screening issue is where coaching meets player accountability. Real screens require buy-in. They require trust that the system will reward the screener. Right now, Indiana's bigs are slipping every action because they've decided the ball is more likely to come back to them than to find Clark on the perimeter. That is a coaching failure and a culture failure at the same time. You cannot run a Clark-led offense without elite screening. The Iowa film proves it. The Indiana film proves the opposite. Then comes the finishing, layups, the most fundamental skill in the sport, and the Fever's bigs are leaving points on the floor in a way that distorts every advanced metric attached to Clark's playmaking. Her true shooting percentage looks worse than it is. Her assist-to-turnover ratio gets dragged down. The national narrative gets ammunition, all because Boston and company cannot finish the plays Clark is creating for them. And finally, the star herself, because none of this matters if Clark is shooting 20% from 3. The Iowa version of Caitlin Clark was fearless from 30 feet. The Indiana version has, in stretches, looked tentative, settling for pull-ups instead of stepping into deep threes, hesitating on catch-and-shoot looks. Whatever is happening mechanically, it has to get fixed tonight. The Sparks just lost by 30. They will play with desperation. Juju Watkins isn't walking through that door, but Dearica Hamby and Kelsey Plum and a healthy roster looking to prove they belong in this conversation absolutely are. Tonight is a measuring stick. Not just for the Fever's playoff hopes, for Stephanie White's job security, for Aaliyah Boston's case as a foundational piece next to Clark, for the entire premise that this front office assembled a roster capable of contending. 5 keys, 5 fixable problems. If Indiana wins, the conversation tomorrow is about resilience and adjustment. If they lose, the conversation tomorrow is about whether this experiment is broken at the structural level. So here's the question I want you to sit with. Is Stephanie White the right coach to maximize Caitlin Clark? Or did the Fever hire the wrong person for this exact moment in franchise history? Pick a side in the comments. Don't hedge. Don't say it's complicated. Tell me yes or no, and tell me why. And while you're down there, hit the like, smash the subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the live stream tonight when we react to this game in real time. Because whatever happens in Los Angeles, the answer to that question is going to start revealing itself the second the ball goes up.